Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of John's Workshop. Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of John's Workshop. This is Workshop Blether number 9. Today we have some stickers to look at. We've got some viewer mail and we'll be doing some behind the scenes footage. Also, in this week's video, we're going to be getting some preparation work done for an upcoming video on the surface grinder. So without further ado, we'll come in at the bench and we'll have a look at the stickers and the viewer mail that's coming, and then we'll move on to the milling machine for some of the surface grinder preparation work. Alright guys, so we're in a bit closer at the bench. We've got some stickers and some viewer mail that's come in, and we've got some bits and pieces of material, so we'll just quickly run through those. So in no particular order other than the order that they came to me in. So firstly, I've got some stickers here sent to me from Dean. So Dean's channel is called Retro Mechanica, and Dean's only really recently got moved into a new place and a new workshop, so similar to me, he's spent a lot of time getting his workshop how he needs it before he starts. So he's got some decent bits of machinery in there. I'm not going to try and list them because I'll have forgotten what make and model they are, but so Dean's got some decent stuff in there. He's only really just got going, but largely I think he's got a BSA Bantam that he's busy restoring at the moment, and he's doing that with his children, I believe, and I think that's really good and really positive, you know, getting the young ones involved in getting their hands dirty and, you know, making stuff that's probably seen as junk and scrap by younger generations these days into something and feeling like they've had an input to it. So, you know, go and check Dean's channel out. He's, like I say, he's only just starting off, and it will be good for him to get a few views. He's only got a couple of videos up just now, but I think he's planning to do some more, so go and check Dean out. Thank you, Dean. We'll be putting you up on the board or somewhere next to the board very shortly. And then secondly, Matty's workshop. So Matty's over in Eastern Australia, and I think most of you who watch me will watch Matty anyway, but if not, it's Matty's workshop. Go and check him out. Really nice guy. Some interesting projects on his channel. Very similar sort of setup to mine, only a bit warmer and a bit drier. And similar sort of jobs that Matty does to the kind of jobs that I do, and again involves his children, gets them involved. And recently watched a video of him upgrading a workshop trolley, workshop cart, and he got both his lads welding, and he's got his oldest lad teaching his youngest lad how to weld, and I just thought that was utterly fantastic. So thank you, Matty. Again, I'll put you up on the board shortly. And Matty's also sent a postcard of his sort of bit of Australia, which is sort of south eastern Australia by the looks of it. So Eden, I think, Sapphire Coast, New South Wales, Australia. So thanks for that, Matty. You'll be pleased to know that Mrs. John's workshop is extremely pleased with that. So that will be going, she collects this kind of stuff and scrapbooks it and things like that. So rather than that going mouldy in my workshop, that's going to get put into one of Mrs. John's workshop's books with her other stuff. So thank you, Matty. So that's the stickers. I think I've covered all the ones that have come in. Then a good friend of mine, Terry Bloomfield, who's one of my sort of regular viewers and commenters. Terry doesn't live too far from me. Really as a crow flies, probably only 40 miles away. Terry popped down on Friday afternoon, sort of unexpected really. I wasn't kind of expecting him, and he just kind of turned up with a box in his hand and said, I bought you a little present. So thank you, Terry. I've now opened the box, and so Terry came in, we got the workshop door open and had a bit of a wander around and showed Terry around the shop, and we chewed the fat for, you know, for a good while, talking about various different things and bits and bobs. So that was good, I enjoyed that. And what Terry's done, he sent me down, so he's watched my recent video of me building the sort of tool stall, as I called it,
where I got loads of comments about needing to put some wheels on it, and Terry got back to me and said, look, I've got some wheels, braked wheels, they're just collecting dust, you're more than welcome to them. So Terry's bought me a set of 4 brand new wheels down, which are fantastic. So yet to work out how I fit those to the trolley, but at least I've got them now, and that'll be a job for the future. And Terry's also bought me down a new reel of flux cord welding wire. Now my welder that I've got is gas or gasless, so all I need to do is swap the polarity over, and I've got some gasless welding wire, which I don't have any of at the minute. So this is all vacuum packed and wrapped up, which is how it's going to stay, so that it doesn't get the damp or moisture into it. But at least I've always got that option now. If I've run out of gas, I can switch over and I can still weld should I need to do some welding. So thank you, Terry, much appreciated. So we'll find somewhere for those to go. And what I've said to Terry is what we'll do at some point in the future. Terry's got a nice workshop. He doesn't do videos on YouTube or anything like that, but he's sent me a few pictures of the projects he's been doing and the machine. You know, he's done a lot of work on really what was an old drill press, and he's turned that into a really capable milling machine. So he's done some really good projects, and Terry's extended the invite out for me to go and have a wander around his workshop, which we'll be doing at some point, and also for me to take my camera and do a bit of filming. So I think that'll make a nice, probably for one of the future Blether videos like this, we'll do a bit of something like that and take you on a wander around someone else's workshop, and I'm really going to enjoy that. So moving on, a couple of bits of stock. So this is just some, I think it's 1 inch by 1 inch angle roughly, just double check it. Yeah, it's 1 by 1 by 1/8. So this is for the surface grinder, and this is to make the back rail for the surface grinder for the magnet. So needs a bit of work first, so that we're going to get that up on the milling machine, do some clean up, and then some hole drilling and whatnot, and then we'll fit that to the grinder, and then we'll finish grind it as a fence across the back of the magnet. That's what that's for, and we'll do some of that in this video. And then I've got a billet of steel here, mild steel, 125mm diameter, 20mm thick, mild steel billet that I've bought. Idea for that was originally I want to get a little 3 or 4 jaw chuck. Still searching eBay, probably a 4 inch. This is a 5 inch plate, so that I've got something that I can attach to my rotary tables, and that's going to need a bit of thought, because I'd like it to go on both my rotaries. So the small rotary table only works flat in the flat plane, but the large rotary table I've got, you can stand it up at 90 degrees and use it as a dividing head. And I'd like the ability to be able to throw a smallish chuck on both of those rotary tables. So we'll need to think about my hole spacing on this quite carefully. Hopefully, I think both rotary tables have got 4 holes equally spaced at 90 degrees, so that should work okay. That being said, they're on different stud sizes, so I might need to do 2 patterns of holes, 2 patterns of 4 holes or something, spaced at 45 degrees or something. So we'll give that a bit of thought. So I've still to buy my chuck yet. I'm looking, so all that's going to do is remain in the workshop as stock just for now, until I've got my chuck and I've got my dimensions, and I know what I'm working towards for making that fit my rotary tables. So we'll bring you back in a minute, and we'll probably start doing some work on the fence for the surface grinder. Alright guys, we've got a piece of angle iron set up in the vise. This is largely going to be my fence or back rail that goes on the magnet on the surface grinder. So there's a few faces that I want to clean up on the milling machine that are going to be location faces. So we're not cleaning up every face, we're just going to clean up the ones that we need to clean up, and also there'll be a couple on the top surface that need changing dimensionally and also cosmetically cleaning up as well before we grind them on the grinder. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Nigel, who's here to do some machining, as you've seen at the start of the video. So Nigel's come up to spend a week with us, and we've just had Christmas Day this week for 2020, which was quite nice, and we're now out doing a bit of workshop stuff. So bit of reference, Nigel is a qualified die fitter in a forge, so quite a heavy engineering background, been in engineering most of his working life, if not all of his working life, but not in machining particularly, so bit of an opportunity for him to wind some handles while he's up here for the week. So I'm going to hand over to Nigel now, and he's going to be doing some of the machining under my sort of direction and guidance, I guess, to get this machined ready to go on the surface grinder. Perfect. Just take your time when you enter it and then gradually wind up. Well, give it a bit more. Well, there we go, guys, just for the Blether. So that's got us just our rail roughed out now. So bit of help from Nigel, did a bit of machining, bit of tuition, that was good. And that's now ready. I've got the holes that I need to slot in here for attaching that to the back of the magnet to make my back rail. So I've got 2 holes drilled and tapped in the back of the magnet. I've cleaned those out ready. So we'll measure those up, and we'll be doing that in a dedicated video when we're squaring this top face up, grinding this back rail once we've got it fitted in position. So that's it for the amount of content we're putting into the Blether video anyway, and we'll pick this up in, as I said, in a separate video. Right guys, I've had a bit of viewer mail in the form of an email from one of my subscribers, and he was asking about the drawbar on this milling machine and how easy is it to do a changeover, say from a drill chuck to a milling chuck. Now, I don't normally show that in the videos because it's not that interesting, but I thought it'd be just worth running through as something to show. So when this machine came, it came with an M12 drawbar in it, which when I looked at all the available tooling on a Morse taper 4, which is what this spindle is, nearly all of it's got an M16 thread in the back, so clearly an M12 drawbar wasn't going to be very useful. So I've made a new drawbar, and that's in one of my previous videos, where we've got an M16 thread at the bottom and an M14 thread at the top. There's a 14.5mm bore down the centre of the spindle, which means I can only load this drawbar in from the bottom. So it is a bit of a clat changing this over, but it's not too difficult really. So I'll just take you through that process now. So the first thing, remove the top cover. There's 2 nuts on the top here, so there's the actual clamp nut and a lock nut. So the first job is to split those 2 apart. Wind the lock nut up till it's just proud of the top of the drawbar, and the reason for that will become clear in a minute. Move the clamp nut up so you've got a 3 or 4mm gap. Now we're going to hit this top nut, and that's why we move it up proud of the top of the drawbar, so we don't damage the threads. Then now spin that lock nut back down, both spanners again, and just lightly knit those two together, which then allows me to unscrew even the drawbar from the drill chuck or the milling chuck, whatever's in there. At that stage, it's just a simple case of making sure the tapers are clean, which you'd be doing anyway. Drop your new drill chuck or milling chuck into the spindle. Tighten everything up, and we split these two nuts apart again. Lock the bottom on, tighten the bottom one up so that you're now drawing the taper up into the spindle. Bring the lock nut down and just work those two nuts against each other to lock the drawbar off. So it's probably, I don't know, a minute and a half, something like that. It's a bit fussy because you need two spanners and there's two nuts, but that's as a result of having this bottom fed drawbar. So hopefully that's answered the question.
No memory.
Ready?
No.
5, 4, 1.
Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of John's Workshop. This is Workshop Blether number 9. Today we have some stickers to look at. We've got some viewer mail, and we'll be doing some behind the scenes footage.
Perfect. That easy.
Natural.
And we'll be doing some behind the scenes footage. That's what you said there, the words you said. So I need to.
I had to keep looking at the board, mind you. I don't know where I pointed, I just pointed towards the general direction.
And we'll be doing some behind the scenes footage. Also, in this week's video, we're going to be getting some preparation work done for an upcoming video on the surface grinder, and also, as we've discussed, that was bollocks. We've already done the behind the scenes footage. Why is it written on the board twice?
You've done it twice? Oh no. Maybe we're getting double behind the scenes footage, aren't we?
Is that still recorded?
Yeah, it's just going to leave it rolling.
Oh, right. I think that'll be fine.
You'll be able to cut that anyway.
I'll just cut that last one out.
Mm-hmm.
Hello guys, well there. Hello, we've already done that bit. That was bollocks. Let's try again. Alright guys, I've had a bit of viewer mail in the form of an email from...
I'll check that one.
So, it's that one to start the spindle.
Yeah.
It's obviously that one, if everything goes
Tits up.
you smash that one. You hit that one, and then you're winding clockwise on here.
Yeah.
You can see I've already cut this far,
Yeah.
but you saw the sort of speed. You'll feel it, it's kind of that kind of speed. I'll stand and say a bit more, a bit less around it. So there we go guys, that's it for Workshop Blether number 9. I hope you enjoyed that. Something a little bit different again. Tried to throw a bit of machining in, bit of discussion. bit of maybe what's coming up in the future in terms of very near term projects. So look out for a video on the surface grinder coming very soon. So, and we'll probably wrap this up at that now. So thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to the new subscribers that are coming along, and we'll catch you all very soon on another video when we'll be making something else.